fucked me up. Seriously. This is supposed to be like a professional show. You totally like messed me. Hey, and
Whatever
here we
happened
go.
to 5, 4, 3, 2, 1?
And a 1.
3, 2,
and a 2.
1.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Turn 88 of A Worthy Opponent, a podcast based on the Blizzard game Hearthstone, a casual podcast because we are casual people. I am Black Lace, and with me in the studio is from Down Under. What's your name?
Ugly Brute.
Are you there?
G'day, guys.
Ugly Brute. Hi, Ugly Brute.
How's it going?
Good to have you back again. I love that you've joined us.
Thanks.
It's fun. And there's that other person here too. My husband, Autumn's Bane.
Do not push the big red button.
Oh boy, that's a toughie. Is it the Alarma bot?
Nope.
It is a mech card.
Yup. It is Mimiron's head.
Oh.
I still haven't seen the animation of what happens with that.
I don't know if this... Oh, you mean when it becomes Voltron?
Yeah.
Haven't
Apparently
seen
it's
that
really
either.
awesome.
Cracks me up.
So it's a 5 casting cost, 4/5 mech minion that at the start of your turn, if you have at least 3 mechs, destroy them all and form V07TRON, or Voltron.
Voltron.
I don't own them, so I've never been able to try them. But I did get
recently.
him. I did get
Didn't
him
you
this
see
week. I did see him, but we'll talk about that later. Consequently, I also saw Mimiron's head flying around Lion's Watch in Tanan Jungle.
Well, that's what I was talking
in
about.
Draenor. So I saw it both in WoW and in Hearthstone.
Pretty cool. So I'm getting excited here because in 2 days we're going to be hearing, this is the news now, in 2 days we're going to be hearing what the next expansion is going to be, and they have been throwing clues out left and right.
So the news is that there's going to be news?
The news is there's going to be news in 2 days, but there's more than that. Now we're moving from the news to the speculation. Ugly Brute, speculate for us. Tell us what you found.
Well, I was noticing, the first thing I noticed was that they brought out a picture recently of a very unattractive pirate with a barrel foot. Have you seen that one?
With a little
you mean the one with the
parrot on
peg
his
leg
wing?
on the barrel?
It's a
That's
barrel
right. You
for
don't
the foot.
think he's got the barrel foreleg, do you?
Play Hearthstone says, they say from Blizzard in a blue quote, champions are sometimes even pirates with barrels for feet.
Are you
although
saying the
admittedly
developers?
that's rare.
Are you saying the developers have never been wrong?
He's definitely going to have a gait when he walks, isn't he? Because, I mean, both of his legs are equal length.
It's
It's physically
proportion.
impossible for him to walk this way.
However,
like
it's
Aerosmith.
a pirate. It's a pirate. I want to know where the ninja is.
What do you guys think of the fact that they've said with this picture, they've said that even pirates can be champions, even barrel-footed ones, although that's quite rare. So do you reckon they're trying to hint that this guy's going to be a rare card in the new expansion?
Well, we've discussed the Argent tournament situation, and there was a dungeon called the Trial of Champions. So, could be.
Exactly.
But there were
the
no,
thing is, the
there were no
pirate
pirates there.
motif doesn't fit in, right? That's the only thing.
Yeah, but we
Pirate
get
part
pirate
doesn't make
cards
sense.
every expansion, don't we?
Right. Yes, I want more ninjas. We need ninjas. So yeah, so we've got the pirate card with the little barrel footedness. Peg-legged barrel foot. So I could see this being a rare card, and it's an interesting illustration. But there's another illustration that's even more interesting that we found, which was the
Troll?
paladin. No, not the troll. The paladin wearing tier 8. Where was tier 8 from?
Tier 8 came from the raid instance Ulduar, which was the middle release in Wrath of the Lich King. So right after Naxxramas, oddly enough.
Okay, so we're still seeing that Northrend theme going on with these
Mhm.
hints, aren't we?
Absolutely.
Yes, we are.
Which also ties
Absolutely.
in with. Have you noticed what's just turned up on the Hearthstone official site? They've got a new little picture there.
Yep, the picture is of not a sword in a stone, but a sword in the snow.
Exactly. And from what I can tell, Autumnsbane will probably correct me on this, but the most likely place to find snow in Azeroth is Northrend.
Correct, I would say. Well,
There's
we've
lots
got
of
winter.
places,
No, we've
but-
got winter's winter spring is snow all over the place. But
Yeah, and Alterac
no.
Mountains have
Right.
snow.
But
Lots of snow in Icecrown, which is where Ulduar and the Ulduar Storm Peaks, but still lots of snow there too.
But they do say the Argent Tourney theory gets more possible with this update. For those who aren't aware, the Argent Tournament resides in Northrend, a very snowy continent, and there are plenty of swords. And then in bold letters it says, "This is no official confirmation Argent Tournament is the planned content."
Wink,
So
wink.
just to add to that,
Yeah,
just
it
to add
doesn't
to
say
that,
wink wink, but it should.
have you guys contemplated this? This is something I haven't thought up. This is something that's been sort of traveling around the gossipy circles for the last few days. But some people are saying, what if it's not an expansion? What if the Argent Tournament is going to introduce the new tournament mode? What are your thoughts on that?
I think if there was a new tournament mode, there wouldn't be all these other motifs involved. I think it
Yep.
would be flat out just a tournament mode.
Yeah, it wouldn't be theme. It wouldn't have a theme around it.
Yeah, and I think the tech behind creating one of those is so huge. But here's the other thing. They have to prioritize what they put out. And they just put out the Brawl,
Yeah.
which is kind of like, here's something to tide you over until we give you real content. And there's already Arena, which is sort of a tournament, and there's already actual tournaments being held all over the world. And there's also the what do they call them? Fireside chat places that people go to. So there's plenty of places and ways to play with other people. What we need right now is an expansion full of cards.
Yep.
Magic the Gathering puts out something like 3 a year or 4 a year. So, Hearthstone, it's time. Because what was last? Blackrock Mountain seems like forever ago, doesn't it?
It does now, doesn't it?
Yeah,
And that was just a handful of cards.
and it wasn't.
Do you think
It
that-
really wasn't too long ago.
Do you guys think that the quality of these pictures that they're bringing out with these little teasers, like the Paladin in the tier 8 gear and the troll, possibly, it looks like she might be a troll priest maybe, and they've also got, of course, the pirate, and they've showed us the young elf with her unicorn. Do you think that all these pictures are going to end
didn't
up
see
That
that
was
one.
not
pictures?
an elf. It was a dwarf.
Oh, sorry about that. Thanks
How
for the
can you
didn't see
correction.
that one.
confuse a dwarf? That was last week's episode.
Oh,
We were talking
okay.
about the unicorn. That you ride unicorns. You forgot that?
No, I didn't forget that. I thought there was a new picture of an elf with a unicorn.
Yeah, no, sorry about that. But the dwarf with the unicorn, do you reckon that all of these pictures, because of their quality and the style in which they're drawn, do you reckon they're going to end up actually being characters on cards in the actual new expansion?
I think there's a good chance. Well, I'm
Could
not sure
be.
about
The style's a
unicorn
little
one.
different, but
You
they've
think
had
so?
they've had a lot of different styles.
Well, the paladin's got all sorts of swirly things, so I can see him being animated. Absolutely. The troll, there's a picture of a troll, and a lot of people can find this at hearthpawn.com, HEARTHPWN. They have a picture of a troll, if you scroll down to the bottom, and, well, she's holding a dagger, so I'm not sure what class she is. But as champions are varied and come in all shapes and sizes, they're masters of many different disciplines. And in this case, I don't think they mean discipline as in discipline priest.
I don't think it's a dagger. I think it's a sword, and mages could use swords.
Yeah.
At least in vanilla they could. I don't know if they still
But
can.
it's an interesting picture. So
Yeah,
again,
Isn't
we've
that going
got-
to be exciting? Like,
It's a
just
little
to think
different
in 2 days
style
they're
than
going
the
to
dwarf.
tell us what it's all about. And
Mhm.
then they're probably going to start very quickly after that, as they always do. They're going to start introducing some of the cards for us and getting us excited for when it's released.
Well, the thing is, they're supposed to. Oh, they're only announcing it on the 22nd, right?
Yeah.
So then they're going to start giving us little pieces to talk about, which should be fun too.
But
I
with their last
agree.
few announcements, they haven't really left it ages, have they? Like, they haven't said, look, this is what we're doing. You've only got to wait 3 months. Usually they say, this is what we're doing. It's out next month. Or this is what we're doing. It's out on Monday. What do you think? Do you think they're going to try and stretch it out a little bit? Or do you reckon we're going to get it fairly quickly?
I think they're going to announce it now, and we'll see it in August.
August.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
won't wait till the end of the summer. I think
No,
they need,
no, because that'll be too close to BlizzCon.
I think they need to get something out far enough ahead of BlizzCon so that people will just start to be getting tired of it by BlizzCon, and then at BlizzCon they can announce the next thing, which might come out at like Christmas or something.
We have the peanut gallery is chirping in the background of this with Autumn's Bane. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, I just completely got blown away by the bird chirping. I'm sorry.
I know. They sound like his little cheer team, don't they? He's got his little cheerleaders in the background when he talks there.
Mm-hmm. So actually, I'm going to move on because right now we've got so much speculation and we won't know for a couple of days yet. So as I said, you can find all this on hearthpawn.com, HEARTHPWN. But something else, they've announced 2 new card backs, which is pretty cool and pretty depressing at the same time because there's a really pretty one for the Galaxy S6 series phone.
Yeah, it looks nice. I've seen someone use it already. It's actually quite a nice looking card in
Right.
the game.
That's right.
Yeah,
It
I
was
played someone
released
today with it.
today? Is this from today? Within the last couple days at least.
Well, it was today that I saw somebody play it against me.
Yeah, it's very pretty. And I've got my little Galaxy, and it's unfortunately not an S6 series phone, so even though I can play Hearthstone on it, I can't get the card back.
I've heard that there's a naughty way to get it without having a Galaxy phone, but we probably won't mention it on the show, though.
No,
There
we
is,
could
and
mention
it-
that if you really want it bad enough that you're
Yeah.
willing to go to extreme measures.
It's
Then-
download
then there's
this,
a way.
do that, do this, do that, enter this, put the slot in with the peg and the circle and all that fun stuff. But there
Give
is
away
a
your
way,
house.
and it does actually get you free cards. Also, I believe some card packs as well as the back.
Oh, then that's stealing.
Yeah, I'm thinking that I'd be careful doing this because I think if Blizzard found out that you got it in such a way that they may close your account, I don't know if there'd be a way for them
Yep.
to track it. But
That's
they
really
have,
against the user
yeah,
agreement
they
of
have a
fair
lot
play.
of they have a lot of very sneaky spyware. I wouldn't call it spyware, but they have little things hiding in their programs in Warcraft and other ways. They can find out when you're doing, they know when you are sleeping. They know when you're awake. They know if you've been bad or good. So be good because I
Until
don't
you
want
mentioned
you
the
to
new
lose your deck.
cards, I didn't really think twice about the workaround. But since it actually includes
Yes.
cards which have a monetary value, I say
Be
don't
careful.
do it. Be careful if
Yeah.
you're going to do it.
But
Not
there's
because
Speaking
also
of getting cards, guys, did you know that some people are actually selling cards online? Like, for example, some people have got the esport card back, but they haven't actually put the code into their own account. They've
so
sold
they're
the
selling the
code
codes.
online, yeah. And apparently people are even doing it for some of the older cards. Like, some people have held on to, for example, the golden, the chieftain, Tauren
Torn
Chieftain.
Shooter?
People are selling those online, and they're going up in price now because of the rarity of them. So some
Wow.
people are actually using these things for trading online. These
Yeah, I don't
codes.
think we had codes when we got the digital.
Oh, okay.
When we got the virtual ticket, it simply went into our account. I guess the people who actually went to BlizzCon were handed codes.
possibly,
Right.
but I know for sure, at least with the card backs, some people are selling them online.
It was inevitable.
There
It
is a
was.
second card back too. The StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void with the pre-order. What do you think of that? It's kind of a pretty card back. It's nice bright. It's very rich looking.
It's
It
the
looks like,
Protoss card.
yeah,
And
gold and silver
they
and
call it the Protoss card because this is the Protoss expansion. Players have been waiting a long time for a big Protoss expansion, and now they have it. And it was a surprise because they kind of sprung it on people. So, no, it makes me wish I actually played the StarCraft I have, but I just can't. I can't invest the time into it when there's all these other cool Blizzard games to
Right.
play.
I mean, I love Heroes of the Storm, and I will play at least one game a day if I can possibly, if I have time. I will make sure I play it every day. And gosh, when Overwatch comes out, forget it. I'm lost. How am I going to play all these games?
But for
You
those
know?
people who are interested, you can
Yes.
get the StarCraft Legacy of the Void expansion for $40 for the standard edition or $60 for the digital deluxe edition, which will have the card back. It will have a mount for Heroes of the Storm. It'll have something for World of Warcraft, which they haven't announced yet, and a few other things for StarCraft, of course.
Right. And they are taking pre-purchases now. So if you want it, go get it.
With the card back for Hearthstone, it's a nice theme actually, because for those who do play StarCraft, the Protoss have got shields, and those shields, when they're hit, they've got like a little hexagon sort of effect that comes onto them when the shields are hit, and they've got that hexagon effect on the back of the card. So it's a nice little tie-in there with the Protoss in the card back.
Yeah, it's a pretty card. It's got like a pearl color with some ice blue swirls in the Hearthstone symbol. So check it out. It's pretty. I guess if you're rich and you like it enough, you can just buy the expansion just to get the card back.
There will be some people that do it, I promise you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But I like them. I've learned not to be a completionist because I just can't. So I'm now able to live without some card backs.
I know, it's so hard, isn't it, when you go into that collection now and they've got them all lined up and they've faded out all the ones you don't own and you feel
And
terrible
you
for
can't
it, don't
possibly own.
Well,
Yes.
Exactly.
It was Molten Core that broke the seal, and there was a little bit of ranting over the Molten Core card back being
Right.
something.
I ranted.
Yeah, and so after that 1-star review, I mean after that episode, we decided not to complain about not getting card backs anymore.
Yeah,
So
you just got to let them go sometimes. Some of them are a bit too hard to get now.
moving on a little bit, I have an email that goes into two separate areas that we got this week. We have two emails to our lovely new segment of embarrassing moments. But the first one kind of has, with the embarrassing moment, comments about the brawl this week. Somebody basically taking back what he said. We had an email last week from Akila, and we have an email this week from Akila. And this is, I shall read it so you can all hear what we're talking about. After my email last week whining about the grind of the Tavern Brawl just to get free packs of cards, I thought I would balance things up with A, an email recanting my dislike to the Tavern Brawl, and B, an embarrassing play. I really liked the Tavern Brawl this week. The random deck idea was a bit like Arena without the cost in gold. I used it to do my dailies, but I also played a bit for fun. Anyway, one of my dailies was win 5 games with a mage or a hunter. I played mage in the Tavern Brawl, and I had a blast. I played so many games, in fact, that when I switched back to playing the latter with my priest, I forgot that the hero power was different. I spent half of the game healing enemy minions when I thought I was blasting them with fire. None of my opponents threw me a thanks, so I didn't notice it for quite a while. And when I finally did, I shame quit and wrote to you. I bet I'm not the first to do this, but feeling better for getting it off my chest. Best wishes, Akila. That is adorable. But he
That
played
is adorable.
so many games with the mage that he just didn't notice he was healing his opponents. Probably some of that healing just didn't do anything because he thought he was blasting creatures that probably hadn't taken damage yet. So it probably wasn't as bad as he thought, but the embarrassment level was definitely there.
And the honesty of sharing it with the world, I love it.
Yes. Well, he shared it with us, and yeah, we blew it out to everybody else. So that is that's kind of a two-parter. That was an embarrassing moment, which was great, but also he recanted his dislike of the tavern brawl, and this is funny because I totally agree with him. I absolutely loved this week's brawl, and Autumn's Bane, you didn't.
No. So you couldn't have gone to Ugly Brute first. You had to come straight to me.
Of course I did.
I didn't like it at all, and it felt like a very bad arena draw, which is always frustrating. It was like playing arena, just a bunch of cards thrown together without rhyme or reason. There were cards that there were more than two of. I had the shaman quest that day, so I decided to start off with the shaman, and it completely sucked. I had almost no minions. In fact, in my opening hand, the only minions I got were the totems that give +2 to the adjacent. In fact, at some point I had to play the totems just to give the totems the bonus from the totems. No other minions coming out. And at the same time, my opponent was playing a druid who was just totally kicking ass, and by mid-game had 3 legendaries out. It was horrible, and it took a half an hour for him to beat me. And then when I switched to the hunter, because I usually win with the hunter, it was also terrible. I had a mad scientist, which, as you know, when you kill him, he's a 2/2. When you kill him, he takes a trap from your deck and puts it into play. There was only one trap in the whole deck. It happened to have been in my hand. So when he died, absolutely nothing happened. And there were like no minions. No beasts, except a web spinner and a king of beasts, which gives you a bonus for other beasts, of which there were none. And there was a Mimiron's head, which is why I used that at the top of the show, but no mechs.
I think a lot of this happens because this brawl was completely random. Like you got
Yes.
15 completely random neutral cards, and then you got 15 completely random class cards. And because they were completely random, if you were, say, a paladin, you could, I mean, would have been almost impossible, but you could have literally got 7 Tyrians in your deck. But I think because it was random, like Autumn's Bane said, sometimes that meant you didn't get anything that you really needed. Like, for example, if you're a hunter, your 15 random neutral cards might not have been beasts at all.
Right. It reminded
did
me
you like
actually
it?
of play.
I personally didn't like it because I've got all the cards, so I enjoy playing with pre-made decks. But I think for new players that don't have all the cards, it would have been fantastic because they could have just hopped on board with the brawl, felt like they were up there with everyone else that's been around for a year and a half, and just play with them with these decks that could possibly win them some games.
See, that's, if Blacklace will indulge, so you think that the new players would like the experience, and I've heard other people say that too. If I were a brand new player and this was my experience, I'd never play the game again.
Yeah, I guess that's coming from our experience, though. You know, we've experienced this game for months and months now, and we've got our decks that we're used to. But for new players, I think it's the thrill of learning what the cards can do and what the potential of the game is. You know, they get surprised that you can play cards like Nosdormu and stuff like that. So I think new players are still in it for the thrill more than the win. When it comes to trying out all the cards at this point, later on when they get to be better at the game and they get a decent sized collection, they might get a bit more salty with these sort of brawls, I think.
Did you win?
I only played until I won my first game, and to be honest with you, I even quit a few games early on, like 5 or 6 turns in, because I knew I wasn't going to win because I just wanted to keep moving. So I didn't really enjoy it that much, to be honest.
So how many games did you play before you finally won?
Probably one full game and a sprinkling of half games, and then I finally won one. But I must admit, I did like playing it for the fact that it was for a quest that I didn't really like. I couldn't remember which class it is now, to be honest, but it's probably like you said, Shaman or something. It was just nice to play in a fresh way and try and get the daily quest.
What about you, Blacklace? How many did you play?
A lot. A lot. I liked this.
No, I
It
mean
reminded me-
before you won.
Oh, 2. I lost when I did a shaman because I was a shaman versing a shaman, and I didn't get the right cards, and it really just didn't do well for me. So that was the one I lost, but I won a lot of games. It reminded me of when I played Micmac and we wanted to do something funky, so we just picked a hero and let the computer generate our decks and then played each other off of them to see what happened. It reminded me just of that, with the exception that, as Ugly Brute said, you were able to get multiple legends. I had 2 Archmage Antonidas in my hand. I never even played them, but I had 2 of them in my hand. My second game, it was against let's see, Mage versus Druid, and I got a Grim Patron, and right after that he called out something with treants, but he couldn't. That turned all, I guess, I don't know, I think he called out 2 treants, but he couldn't attack my Grim Patrons, because if he attacked them they'd still be alive and they'd call out more, so he wound up losing because of that and actually quitting. I played a
So he
rogue,
had an
I played a
embarrassing
druid.
moment.
Yeah, he did. Well, he couldn't do anything. He couldn't even embarrass himself because he had to play it. I mean, he was trying to win. With my first game, I actually had Illidan in my opening hand, but I got killed so fast that I couldn't even play him. The second game was actually kind of frustratingly long, but it was fun. After that, I just liked how it played, so I went on and did my quests, my daily quests with them, and just had fun that way instead of trying to play casual or go up the ladder.
Do you think that's the secret to enjoying the brawls, Blacklace? Like not being too fussed as to whether you win?
Possibly. I mean, well, I did win quickly. I probably would have gotten frustrated if I played 6 games and lost them all, but I didn't. I played some decent games.
And let me just point out, I wasn't fussed because I didn't win, because I won on the second attempt, which is fine for me. It wasn't that I lost, it's that I felt like I couldn't play. The game is designed to actually have some compelling gameplay. There was no compelling gameplay in those 2 games I played.
Did you find, though, Autumn's Bane, that every now and then you got given a card that you haven't seen for a while and you thought, oh, I haven't played with this card for a while, like a bit of excitement there?
Well, I haven't played. I had to, because of all of these, what were they, from BlackRock. I had to disassemble many of my decks. At one point, I had 1 deck for every hero. Amongst the heroes that got disassembled so I could make decks for that experience, well, Blizzard, where's my payable extra slots, like you hinted at? Anyway, I had disassembled my Shaman. I haven't played Shaman since before BlackRock. So I said, well, since I have no Shaman deck and I have this Shaman quest, let me try it. And I'm familiar with the Shaman. I played it a lot before, but so I knew every card I got, and I knew how worthless they were.
Yep.
I had fun. I enjoyed it.
You kind of need minions or damaging spells. And I wasn't getting minions, and I wasn't getting damaging spells. I was getting enhancement cards. I was getting utility cards. Cards that maybe help you draw or to give something to a minion. But you can't give something to a minion when you have no minions, other than, of course, totems. Shamans technically always have a minion because they have totems. But, +1 to spell power is not going to help me win the game, is it? When I have no spells that do damage.
Well, that's kind of what happened with me with my Shaman. But as I said, I won 4 out of my first 5. The first one with the Shaman, then the Mage versus a Druid. Then I had played 2 as a Rogue, and then I played 1 as a Druid. I mean, I was just flipping around trying different ones. I actually really, really liked it. And I was kind of sad. There was one day that I went in, I was like, I think I'll play another Brawl, and I was like, crap, it's over.
Yeah,
So
and
It's
I
interesting.
liked this one.
I also want to
It's
say
interest-
I'm not bitter about this. I know that there are people who enjoyed it, and I know it's going to be different every week. I said this before. They're going to cater to different people's cup of tea, and this one wasn't mine, and I'm fine with that. It's just when asked whether I enjoyed it or not, I most definitely did not, but I look forward to seeing what next week will bring. Ugly Brute, I'm sorry I cut you off.
That's fine. I was just going to basically say exactly the same thing. Now that they've got literally tens of millions of players, there's always going to be someone who loves the week's brawl. There's always going to be someone who can't stand it. So the fact that both Autumn's Bane and I thought it was blah, and Black Lace, you thought it was awesome, I think that's a healthy thing. Now that we've had a handful of them, though, what was your favourite one? Autumn's Bane, you go first. What was your favourite brawl so far, do you think?
Well, the one I played 10 games of last week.
And
the
just remind us what the rules were
spell
on that one.
minion one.
That's right. That was good fun. That was my favourite one as well, actually. That was one where you played the spell and then a minion equaling it in mana cost came out, wasn't it?
Yes.
What about you, Black Lace? What's your favourite brawl so far?
I'm trying to. I think it might have been. I'm trying to remember. I think it was last week's too, actually, because I had fun with my shaman. Let's see.
You know, it's interesting that you say that because when you think about it, last week's one wasn't as random. Like the web spinner one was completely random. The portal one was completely random. But with last week's one, there was a little bit of strategy there. Like you thought, okay, well, I get to choose my spells. I might get a random minion from this spell, but I can control what power level that minion's going to be. So there was a little bit more planning, a little bit more skill involved than just randomly seeing which person, coin flipped better, like some
But
of the other
I don't
brawls
know.
could
I
have.
don't know about that. It's that you're able to do things with and choose your own, whereas in this one, you have to play the hand you're dealt. Quite literally, excuse the
That's his
cliche.
point.
You have to play. No, this week. No, this week you had to. So I think this week had more skill. Or is that what you were saying? And I really did know it.
I think this week was out of your hands. You got given a random deck. Your opponent got given a random deck, and to be honest with you, you're probably the same skill level. So it did pretty much come down to who got the better deck.
Hmm.
In
Yeah,
other
that's my
words,
personal opinion.
last
Though. I could be
week
completely wrong.
took some skill and some law and order, whereas all the others have been kind of chaotic and you had no control. It was RNG or pre-made decks that you didn't know. So really, last week's, and I think Ugly Brute hit the nail on the head. That's why I enjoyed last week, because I've said on the show many times, if I can't win a game by skill, not that I have a lot of skill, but if I can't win by skill, I'm dead in the water because I have the world's worst luck. I can't play card games, I can't play dice games that are just luck. I mean, poker is not just luck. Poker, there's some strategy. But there are games out there, like, I can't think any of the top of my head, but I played them as a kid, that are pure luck. And I don't always lose those games. But, play checkers, that's not just luck, that's skill. That's the type of game I like. So I think that's why I liked last week's better, because I had contribution to whether I won or lost.
Yep. And I got a handful of dust as a reward. I mean, I did. I got literally a handful of
Nice.
dust.
Yeah, I got
Do you
that
still
Paco
have-
Dust too. That's this new breakfast cereal, Paco Dust.
Paco dust.
Do you guys still have any of the classic sets still to collect?
Oh, yeah. I have a lot.
Just legendaries.
Yeah?
I have
Yeah.
everything but
Yeah.
legendaries.
Yeah, I have a good amount that I still need. So I still once in a while get one and kind of hope that I'll open up a pack and it'll have something. But speaking of opening up packs, we have a great segue into something that Ugly Brute saw on YouTube?
Yeah, I mentioned it before on another show, but there's a guy called Trollden that does lucky moments in Hearthstone. And in episode 115, which aired almost a week ago, there was an amazing, at the end of the video, it showed you an Asian player. He must have been streaming or something because of the fact that they caught it on the camera. But there was an Asian player who opened a classic pack. Now, they say that you should get a legend one legend in every 25 packs. Do you guys agree with that as about a rough
Yep.
equation?
Seems about right.
Because when I bought 50, I got 2.
Yep. And how often do you think you should get golden legends?
Well, Black Lace is ahead of the curve on that department.
Yeah. How many golden legends have you got in a year and a half, Black Lace?
How many? Oh, I have to actually look it up.
Oh, that's okay. But they're pretty rare. I think I've been playing since April last year, and I've only got 2 golden legends in that whole time.
I've gotten 1, and I dusted it.
Yep, you got it. Cool. It's probably a lousy one.
It was
All right.
Velen.
So with all this in mind, this guy opened 1 pack, and in that 1 pack, he had 3 legends. In that 1 pack,
I had 2.
The
I'm
first
sorry,
one-
2 in a year.
All right. Well, this guy was the first one he got was Alex Straza.
Golden Alex
The
Straza?
second one he got was a golden Onyxia. And the third one that he got in the same pack was a golden Tyrion. So in 1 pack, he got 2 golden legends and 1 legend.
Oh my
and
God.
decent legends, too.
Yeah.
Exactly, decent ones. So I just thought I'd share that because that was most certainly a lucky moment in Hearthstone. And the guy was going crazy. He was talking in some sort of Asian language. I had no idea what it was, but I could certainly tell that he was very, very happy.
Oh yeah. That's
That would-
pretty awesome.
That would make a lot of people happy.
Yep. My Archmage Antonidas is one of my golds.
That would
and
be awesome.
Of course, you can't count the Tauren Chieftain or the Gebelin Mechatork because those came as golds. But I also got a gold Tashley.
I've got an embarrassing dusting moment.
Oh, no.
An embarrassing what?
Do we
I've got
want to
an
hear
embarrassing
this?
dusting moment.
No.
I dusted when I first started playing. I didn't appreciate how rare golden legends were, and in one of my first packs, I got a golden Ysera. And I thought to
Oh.
myself, I'm never going to use this card. I dusted her, and I don't even know what I spent it on. But I regret to this day that I dusted my golden Ysera.
I would have regretted dusting a regular Ysera.
Yeah, it's too bad they don't do something like they do in Warcraft, where you can contact a GM and they can reverse what you did.
I reckon what they
But-
should do for new players is they should say, when you open a golden legend, they should say, this is really rare. If you dust this, you are stupid.
That would be
Just
nice.
put it out there so people understand the importance of these things when it comes along in their life.
Yeah, we've all done that though. Well, since we're talking about embarrassing moments, I did get another email of an embarrassing moment. And this one was from Flintlock. This one is, hello again, Weathery Opponent. I wanted to share with you an extremely embarrassing moment I recently had while playing a priest. Yeah, I know. Everyone who's spent any amount of time playing as a priest knows the pain of having... That's funny because both of our embarrassing moments were played by priests this week. I'm sorry. Back to the letter. Anyone who has spent any time playing as a priest knows the pain of having an Akanai Soul Priest on the board and accidentally using a heal spell on ourselves, causing damage instead.
Ah, yes.
I was unfortunately able to one-up this by playing a Holy Nova while having the Soul Priest out, causing not only 2 damage to all of my opponent's minions, but also to mine. I immediately facepalmed and imagined my opponent both laughing and feeling sorry for my silly mistake. That's awesome. Yep. It's too easy to forget. And I was playing a priest this week. I was the priest, and I had out my soul priest. So I had a card out that heals you for 3. I forget what it is. It's a troll. And when you cast it, it heals you for 3 points. Do you remember what card it is? Anybody?
I can't remember, sorry.
Oh my gosh.
We don't
Whatever.
play priest. We don't
What
play
it-
priest, do we, Autumn's Bane?
Well, it's not a priest card. It's a regular
sorry.
neutral. And I know when she comes out, or I call it a she, but it's actually a he. She's just wearing a dress. You can basically restore 3 points of damage, and I wasn't sure if with the Soul Priest it's the Earthen Ring Farseer. the battle cry is restore 3 health.
Oh yeah, I know
Um,
the one. Yep.
Yes. And I was very careful. I was like, wow, I think that I'm just going to be very, very careful here. And I took the risk of going to heal his character, his minion, for 3 points, which, if it worked right, was going to kill it, and it did. So just so people know, if you have those cards out that deal damage to other cards, even if they're like people or minions that deal damage, or that heal other things, they will turn over to damage if you've got the Arcanized Soul Priest.
But I love that. Yeah, hitting yourself when you've got that Soul Priest out, that hurts. That is an embarrassing moment, that's for
Yes.
sure. Especially if that heal kills you. You know, you're on 2 health and you go and heal
Mhm.
yourself, and bye.
Yep. So thank you very much, Flintlock, for the email. Thanks everybody for the emails regarding their embarrassing moments. Please send us more, because we do it too. They're fun segments to read, as long as you're willing to let us know about them. I did not get a deck to play with again this week. Depressed. I don't know what it was about Micmac. Everybody liked having Micmac play with their decks.
he just had a way with them, didn't he?
I guess he did. We just won't go there. So I'm going to ask one more time. And after this, if I don't get anybody's decks to play with this week, we'll probably give up the segment. So we're going to move on for that. Ugly Brute, you did some Archeon Team League and DreamHack this week?
Yes, some tournament watching for the weekend. It was a fun weekend for watching tournaments. Do you guys know where Valencia is? I had to look it up. Do you know where Valencia is in the world?
No.
I've heard of the Oranges, Valencia Oranges, but Valencia is in Venezuela. And believe it or not, they have a DreamHack. I didn't know that they had a DreamHack in Venezuela, but they did this weekend. It was the most exciting thing that's ever happened in Venezuela, apparently, because Hearthstone's a big deal. But what's interesting is it was won by a gentleman by the name of Green Sheep. Have you heard that name before?
Nope.
Green Sheep was the youngest guy at the BlizzCon World Championships last year. 16-year-old fellow from England. He didn't do so well at BlizzCon, but at this DreamHack, he did amazingly well. So he's either still 16 or he's 17 now, but he traveled with his teammate. They're from Team Dignitas in England. So they traveled to the DreamHack where there were hundreds of people, and you had to start from ground zero. You had to play in group sets to try and advance to the final stage, which is telecast. So he made his way all the way to the best of 16. Now, when it got down to only 16 players left, he had to play someone, and he won 3-0. Okay, so he didn't lose a game when it was the best of 16. So that got him into the quarterfinals. In the quarterfinals, how many games do you think he lost?
I don't know.
Mm-mm.
Have a guess. Make it a
One.
round number. He
I
lost
was gonna
lost
say
0
one.
games.
Aha.
0. 0 games. Have a guess how many games he
That's
lost.
a round number. You don't get
That
much
is.
more
I was
round
giving you
than
a hint,
zero.
Ordensbane. I was giving you a
Round number.
hint.
0 is a number?
Have a guess
Yes,
at
it's
the
a
round
number.
number. How many did he lose in the semifinals?
0.
It's a round number? 0.
Correct. Then have a guess who he met in the finals. Keeping in mind there were hundreds of people playing. Who do you think he met in the finals?
Fire,
So
what's
there
his
was only
name?
2 people left.
Firebat?
There was only 2 people left.
Yeah, I was going to say
No,
Firebat.
his teammate from Dignitas.
Oh, nice.
So they both made it all the way to the finals. How many
So the
games
team
do you
won.
think he lost in the finals?
All of them.
but he won Black Lace. So
Oh, okay.
He
I
must
don't watch
have-
this stuff.
So
he
he
lost
lost a
3.
round number. No, he lost 3.
No, he lost 2 and won 3. So he just won in that final. But very impressive. A guy of 17 not losing any games until he got to the final when it came to the top 16. I thought that was very
But
impressive.
he still won.
Mhm.
And he still won. Yep,
Yeah,
he didn't lose
so-
any games, and he still won.
I mean, shutting someone out when you're at the very top tier is pretty darn hard to do.
Exactly.
That would have
And
been
you think
like
about
the
it,
trifecta, the
just
triple
to,
crown.
just to think of how hard it is. Just to think of how hard it is. When you get to the top 16 players, you're talking about people that really know their stuff. I mean, and to play most of them and not drop one game, that takes some skill. So
You're talking about the top
17-year-old
1% of the playership,
not even like probably the
or
top
less than one, but it's in the
0.15.
top one.
Exactly. But I mean, for this boy at 17 to be doing things like that, I think we're going to hear that name for a while to come, the old green sheep.
Green sheep.
Alas, my love, never mind.
No, that's green sleeves. Okay, so we're gonna probably look at him for him at BlizzCon, huh?
I reckon we'll see him around. I don't know whether he'll make it to BlizzCon. He might not have enough points, but at that particular DreamHack, he really rocked the show. With the Archon Team League, that's the one we've been talking about the last few weeks. It's finally been played for a few weeks now, and there's finally starting to emerge a clear leader, and that's Team Nylum. They are ahead now on the board with no losses. They were equal with Forsen Boys up until this week, but Forsen Boys lost to a Maz's team, Team Archon, this week. But Team Nylum, they're still going strong. They've got players in there like RDU. You might have heard of him from the High Mum incident that he had when he was at a DreamHack last year, where people thought that he was cheating because people in his chat were giving him messages while he was playing, which turned out to be completely false. And then on Team Nylum, there's also Life Coach, who's also infamous. He's known as Sex Coach because of something he accidentally did on Twitch once. But you can imagine what that was. But he's still one of the top players in the world, which is why Team Nylum is currently in the lead. And that's it for tournaments this week, guys.
Good show.
Sounds like you had fun watching them, though. Talking about tournaments, we have one coming up. How many entries do we have now, Honest Vein?
Take a guess. It's a round number. No, it's not a round number.
No, it's not.
It's 22. As of today, it's 22.
Oh, so we have 10 more spots.
Yes.
And we
10
can close
spots
when?
open.
August 1st?
August 1st, so we have time. We even got at least one email of somebody saying, and we seem to always get one of these, thanks for the invitation. I'd love to come, but I have previous engagement.
Yeah.
So, sorry for the guys and gals who can't make it.
And thanks for
That's
even
nice.
sending us emails saying that.
I know. It's good to get RSVPs, isn't it?
Yes.
It's nice.
And again, people should have gotten the emails once you actually send us your message saying you want it. You will get put on the mailing list, and you'll get an email saying all the details. So
People must be hearing about this from someplace other than our show.
correct,
'Cause
because
I
they're
keep-
always asking what the dates
Yeah.
are.
Well, or how do I get in? How do I get into your tournament? I know if they were listening to this, they couldn't possibly be needing to know that. So word is
Right.
getting out, and that's kind of cool.
We don't even need 250,000 prize pool to get players, do we, guys?
No, we don't.
No, but since you're talking numbers, there was an exciting number. We're just
Yes, we are
we're just
so
a hair
close.
under 500 followers on Twitter, and I know for most podcasts that's probably a drop in the bucket, but to me that's an impressive number.
By the way, guys, speaking of numbers, I have listened to Black Lace and stopped spending all of my gold in the shop. And I now am proud to say that I have just shy of 400 gold.
Yes, that's great. That's great.
400 gold.
Yes, I'm his cheerleader.
Yeah, I'm ready to spend up big, baby.
I have 1,065, but Osmond probably has 1,400 by now.
I do 1455 to be exact.
See? Yeah,
Are
I've
we
got
measuring
1,000
decks?
No, pots of gold.
stacks of gold.
That's 14 packs I can buy when the expansion comes
I
out.
could get 10. All right, but of course we might be buying wings too, so who knows?
If you could buy 10 packs and you have the same luck as that Asian player, you are going to be doing all right.
Well,
Oh heck,
odds
2
are
packs
I
with
should get
that.
at least one legendary from that. But no, if I'm wrong, I'll eat my hat.
No,
not-
you won't. I gave you that hat.
Not that hat because I'm not gonna eat all that
Tough leather.
But We just had BlackRock. They're not going to do another adventure. They're going to do a full-fledged expansion. They have to.
So you see PAX in our future.
Absolutely.
And we're not talking about
That's why
PAX
I'm
North.
saving gold.
Okay.
It's not going to be an adventure. It's not going to be. They've already done BlackRock and they've done this Brawl thing, which is to tide us over. It will be a full-fledged expansion. It has to be. If I had money, I would bet it.
Oh, guys, I'm so
But with the-
excited. 2 days to go. I can't believe we've got to sit on our hands for 5 days before we can talk about it on the show once they release this
I
news.
know.
Now, news. Fortunately, Hearthstone news drops any day of the week. We have been like the first to break news, and then it's like other times it drops like an hour after the show is done, so we're behind the pack and announce it when it's old news already. So that's good. The news drops all along the way, so I'm not worried about how long it's going to take to talk about it. But I know it's going to be a full set. I don't know how many cards though. I'm guessing it'll probably be about the same number as goblins and gnomes. What do you think?
Yeah, I think we'll go for around about 100, I'd say. 100 cards. That's
Yeah.
what seems to be the norm, doesn't it, with what they've done so far?
Yeah,
Mhm.
or wasn't it more
Or
like
was it about
120?
140?
But yeah,
Yeah.
140. Yeah, it's a little more than 100. 100 I don't think is quite enough, and going
For an
above
expansion,
150
no.
would be a little too much. So yeah, that sounds about right.
So we have in our chat room somebody wants us to get a little bit more specific. Again, going back to the tournament, it's going to be rounds. Usually depends on how many people we have, right? How many rounds do we usually go?
Well,
5?
It depends on the person. So
Six?
if there's 32 entries, then it drops to 8, then 4, then
16,
2, then 1.
8. Yep. 16, 8, 4,
Yeah.
2.
I kind of
So
missed the
you'd have
16
5
one there.
rounds.
Yeah.
5 rounds.
And you play 3 game, best of 3. So sometimes people will play the third game even when somebody's won 2 in a row, but other people say, okay, you beat me and I'm done. So that's pretty much it. Pretty simple.
Okay. And
Bring
3
it on,
decks
man.
for
I want my
everybody.
goodies.
3 decks for everybody.
2 decks.
2 decks.
There's no point in the third deck.
Okay,
You play
fine.
you play with one deck, and if you lose, you retire it, and then you play the second deck. And if that loses, well, game over.
You've
So
lost
this-
2 out of 3.
Right.
Nobody wants to be the third deck, guys.
No.
All right. So anyway, people should look up Lego's Hearthstone board
Oh, yeah.
because somebody crafted a Lego's Hearthstone board. And I mean, it's a 10-minute video and it is a bit long. Absolutely. It's long. But
He's
the
very
board
proud. He's very
is,
proud of this
yes,
board.
he is. With good reason. It's awesome. He has a gong. He did the Pandarian scene, Hearthstone board scene. He did cards, and what he did was he took pictures of Legos like warriors and mages and put them on the cards. I mean, this thing is pretty phenomenal.
Yeah,
He has
and what
hours
about
and
the...
hours and hours of time to make this, but look it up. Go ahead, Ugly Boo. I want people to look at this because
That
it's
water
just
mill was amazing
incredible.
too, wasn't it? That water mill
Yes,
at
with
the
the
back.
little pumpkins.
Yeah, and the opponent's Hearthstone cards are still upside down, but they've got the little Hearthstone logo on the back of them.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. So he's got the 4 buildings. He's got the
Oh,
middle of it.
I just Googled it. I'm not watching a video. I'm just looking at the actual deck, and it's got the Pandaren Pavilion, and then it's got the little hut. And
He's
it's
done
got
a great
like,
job, hasn't he?
yeah,
He did a
it's-
phenomenal job. And
Yeah,
I mean,
there's
it
cards on the
amazes me
board.
that he found all the pieces. And I mean, he made a mage, he made a warrior, he made a paladin. I mean, it's just incredible. So if you want to just do something silly, and again, I don't know that you can sit through the whole thing. I couldn't sit through the whole thing. I started doing a little fast forwarding through it, but beautiful job.
Yes, mate. What was the
Well played.
what was the channel you look up again on YouTube to watch it?
Autumn's name, do you have it up right now?
No, I just Googled Lego Hearthstone board, and there it was.
Yeah, that might be the way to go.
Remember the days when we had to give URLs out? Now there's just Google
Right.
it. Type
But
it
I love
right
that.
into the URL.
I love his
And that's
Lego
all- that's
Paladin
all
and
it's
his Lego
called.
Mage.
Yeah, it's actually just called Lego Hearthstone Board YouTube. So, anyway, that's pretty much it for the show.
Lego Paradise. Xander keeps telling us it's
And then he
Lego
says no.
Paradise.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. But
Yeah, I
you can look
think
it up on Google and see
Based
it
on
that way
that
too.
based on that name, I think this guy does all sorts of stuff in Lego. But it sounds like this week he decided he was going to have a crack at Hearthstone, and he really pulled it off. I reckon.
Yeah, maybe they'll do one in Minecraft. They seem to do everything there.
Anything else before we wrap it up, guys?
No, but it's been a pleasure.
Okay. Thank you everybody for listening. We're just going to go right down the line as usual. You can find us on Twitter at A Worthy Opponent. You can listen to us live Eastern Standard Time, 8 p.m. on Monday nights, twitch.tv/HoloSuiteMedia. You can send us an email at gmail.com. I'm sorry, it's awohearthstone@gmail.com. Again, send us your most embarrassing moments. We still want to hear your plays of the week if you've got them. And of course, maybe a deck for me to play with. You can find us on Facebook at AWO Hearthstone. You can listen to us on iTunes. Send us a review. We'll send you a shout out. You can find us on Stitcher Satellite Radio, Google Plus, A Worthy Opponent. Special thanks to HoloSuite Media for having us sponsored here. Thank you to the theme music provided by Awesome City Limits. And I'm going to send out a little special thank you to Micmac, who, although he is no longer on the show with us, is in spirit. He's sending us his live feed so that people can watch him play while we're actually doing the cast. So thank you, everybody. As always, happy hearthing.
Bye, all.
Ugly Brute? Ugly Brute?
Yes.
You are
Forgetting to
so
Press
lucky.
the button down again.
You are so far away. Because
Thank
I would
you,
hurt
Mike.
you. You're
I'm
welcome.
impressed though. I couldn't distract you there at all. I did forget to press the button, Autumn's
I knew it. You were too quiet.
Thanks for tuning in to tonight's broadcast of A Worthy Opponent, a production of HoloSuite Media. Join us next week at Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And be sure to check holosuitemedia.com, iTunes, and Stitcher Satellite Radio for our remastered shows and more. You can follow us on Twitter at Worthy Opponent. Or if you have any questions or comments, please send an email to awohearthstone@gmail.com. Welcome to our inn.